Niners going back to the NFC title game, 4th time in the last 5 years. Who's not excited about that?
It's really incredible with Kyle Shanahan. Like, look, again, he drove me crazy with the play calling in this game. He really did. He drove me crazy because it's like, dude, you have CMC. They're not a good run D. Just use him more. And he gets the 17 rushes, and he gets the 7 catches. To me, in a one-score game, in the rain, when your quarterback looks a little off and you have no Deebo, deviate whatever the game plan was heading in, and like that's a 35-touch game for Christian McCaffrey. Or here's a thought, and this is something I was thinking about while watching the game. I'm like, all right, everybody says CMC is the best route runner of all the running backs in the league. Line him up in the slot or at receiver and give Mason or Elijah a touch.
Well, you may do that this game. When you get a player hurt like Deebo, Shanahan explained it after the game on Saturday. Deebo gets hurt, and all of a sudden you got guys scrambling out of position, which is why Jauan Jennings ends up in the backfield on a rushing play. You know, he runs the ball to RPM. But that's what happens. So I think if they know Deebo, and again, the report from Adam Schefter this morning is that Deebo Samuel is 50-50 for Sunday's NFC title game. Now, also, you got this Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trash talk with Deebo Samuel from earlier in the year. So you got that playing out here. But Deebo Samuel is 50-50 for the NFC title game. So a lot of guys were scrambling out and due to shoulder injury.
So it's just the shoulder, okay.
Shoulder that he suffered against, the same shoulder injury that he suffered against Cleveland, in which he missed 3 games here. He's going to do everything he can to play. I have a hard time believing the shoulder injury is going to keep Deebo Samuel out. I feel like Deebo Samuel is going to find a way to show up on Sunday and play in that football game against the Detroit Lions. I have a hard time not seeing number 19 in uniform. Deebo Samuel's about that life. What's that? All right, here's your report on the injury. Injury, NFL Network.
There's no fracture in the shoulder of Deebo Samuel, which is good news. It was actually the same shoulder as he injured last time, had a hairline fracture, missed a couple games, did all the tests this time. They believe no fracture. That is good. As far as the actual status going forward, that still remains up in the air. Kyle Shanahan going to talk to reporters earlier today, likely to get some clarity. The belief is this is not a major injury. Samuel got to work on rehab right after it happened and has been telling people he thinks that he will be okay.
So, like, watching the game back multiple times, because I'm a sick person, it did feel like they just put Jennings in the spot where Deebo would be. You saw Jennings coming across the formation on runs to CMC. The defense was not guarding in terms of, like, everyone shifting.
They don't react to the same way to Jauan Jennings as they do to Deebo Samuel.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a better way of putting it. But Jennings made some big, tough, contested plays downfield. Now, on that gun run to start the second half, okay, everybody splits out, and you got just Jauan Jennings to the left or to the right of Brock Purdy. If you watch the play back, Brandon Ayuk immediately turns to the sidelines. Now, Brandon Ayuk was very animated throughout the game, but he turns to the sidelines. He's like, what are we doing? What was that? So there was obviously some sort of a mix-up, and then in the post-game presser, someone asked Shanahan about that, and he's like, yeah, that wasn't necessarily the main play. It was an option off of it. So they read something, or Brock read something, or maybe it was a mistake. Right. I'm not really sure. But everybody, and myself included, was like, what are we doing?
But you know what? Jauan Jennings, 5 catches, 61 yards, turned out to be him. He stepped up in a major way. Also, one underrated aspect of the football game on Saturday.
His blocking.
The Niners were 10 of 16 on third downs. On third downs, for the most part, they were able to extend drives. You go 10 for 16 in a playoff game, you convert 62.5% of your third downs.
That's good.
That's one aspect that I think was overlooked all weekend long. Was like, wow, the Niners on the money downs, even without Deebo Samuel, were able to extend drives and find a way to score points there. So the Niners did what they had to do to invest in NFC champ. But Jauan Jennings, man, 5 catches, 61 yards, all huge catches. The throw Brock Purdy made over the middle of the field, Jauan Jennings was just making his cut, his break inside on that end route. And to get it over there, to fit that ball over to Mike linebacker in between 2 defenders behind him, hell of a play by Brock. Hell of a catch by Jauan Jennings.
When he let it go from my couch, I was like, oh, no, that's going to be picked. My heart stopped.
Well, I did, too, from my seats.
Yeah, what was you, from your angle?
I was like, oh, my God, he's about to throw a pick.
What a great catch by Jauan Jennings. I thought one of the best plays that came was Jauan Jennings finishing the block on the sideline on the Kittle play, because it was like an enforcer play. Right. Set the tone. And then on the very next play, apparently, I don't know how demonstrative he was, but CMC basically had to tell Kyle Shanahan, we're running this play.
Right.
And I'm going to score a touchdown on it. And then on the very next play, they ran that play. and CMC scored a touchdown. CMC's unreal.
Yeah, no, CMC, they called it AT Mike. Shanahan was explaining after the game. He said, AT Mike. CMC said AT Mike, but they got a different look and they still scored. Christian McCaffrey's so special.
Oh, my God.
To me, he's the best offensive player in this football team. I mean, the yardage, like you look at his touches, okay, 17 for 98. He averaged 5.8 yards a carry. So Aaron Jones on the other side with 18 for 108. McCaffrey's right there with 17 for 98. You know, the 39 for a 39-yarder in that football game. 2 touchdowns. Another 7 catches for 30 yards. I wouldn't have been mad. I wouldn't have been mad if he got 40 touches on Saturday.
This is my thing. Like, it's the playoffs. Like, you use him a lot throughout the regular season, and then come playoff time where he's on a pitch count. And I know he came out, he had like the cramp or something was going on with the thigh, Charlie horse. I don't know what it was. But like, in a one-score game where you are going up against a porous run defense and your quarterback looked a little shaky and it was tough to throw, run the ball. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone and I'm just complaining even though we won. I'm just saying, my God, CMC, if your season had ended and he only had 24 touches in that game, I think all offseason we're talking about how do you not give the ball to Christian McCaffrey more?
We're talking about Shanahan's play calling, which was a little tight on Saturday night. Shanahan got a little tight. Into the first half, clock management. I thought in the third quarter at times there were some hairy moments. For Kyle Shanahan, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They're playing the Lions on Sunday. You can wash away all the bad. Hopefully, they got all the bad and all the rust out against the Green Bay Packers because they survived and they advanced. And that's the main thing here. They survived and they advanced.
God.
And the season prolongs here. They don't have to clear out their lockers today. Instead, they're getting ready for the Detroit Lions.